Hey everybody, it's Sunday afternoon, having to do some barbecuing, getting ready for the week, getting some food ready. So I thought I'd shoot this video to sort of recap what's been going on. It's been a crazy 48 hours, that's for sure. Just to recap, back in December of 2015, when Donald Trump was running for president, to throw meat to his supporters, he said, I'm going to institute a Muslim ban, a complete ban on Muslims entering the United States until such time that we can, quote unquote, figure things out. And so that's what he said he was going to do. And of course, naming a specific religion and saying that you're going to ban those people from the United States is per se unconstitutional. And so the president has had to couch that a little bit. And even though he did that, Mr. Giuliani was on the press today talking about the Muslim ban and naming it as a Muslim ban. So we know full well what it is that they're up to. And so on Friday afternoon, late on 4:30, which is always when people try to sneak things through in Washington, D.C., the president signed his executive order on the so-called Muslim ban, and it basically prohibited people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from coming to the United States. And they wrote it and treated it very broadly. They interpreted their own executive order very broadly. And my wife Amani has correctly pointed out that one of the things that they did that they probably overreached on was having it apply to green card holders. And so that is lawful permanent residents. These are the people that are one rung below citizenship. And they really overreached on that. And that has led to a much greater scrutiny to this executive order. And so that was on at 4:30 on Friday night. And then on Saturday, the best organization in all of the land, the American Civil Liberties Union, the lawyers for the ACLU, they heard about two Muslims who were coming to the United States from Iraq. One of them was a translator who had helped the United States military. They landed in Washington or in New York City, and they were unable to go through customs because of the executive order. Now, don't be confused. This order is something that the hardline, very, very conservative, anti-Muslim, xenophobic, racist members of the Republican Party, the people on the far fringes, have been dreaming about this for a long time. And so this is all the handiwork of Michael Flynn and Steve Bannon, 2 of the president's advisors. He has surrounded himself with these nut jobs who are way, way out on the fringe and who have been dreaming of having a Muslim ban for many years. And so even if you read the executive order, it doesn't make any sense. It talks about 9/11 and about the people from all these countries, but none of the countries that are banned, which are Iraq, Iran, Syria, Sudan, Somalia, Libya, and one other one. And sorry about that. Anybody got the list, remind me of that. But basically, the people on the countries on the list have no connection to 9/11. And so to invoke 9/11, which happened 15 years ago, and in a time when there have been very, 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 very few percentage-wise Muslim attacks in the United States. This is all just Trump, and thank you, Annie, Yemen was the other one, that's right. And so Trump and his people are really trying to vilify Muslims to make them ostracized. And so anyway, getting back to the story, the ACLU went into court in New York, in federal court, and they got a judge who listened to them, and they were able to prevail and to have the judge issue a stay of the executive order. So it didn't apply to everybody, and it didn't require right away that the people being held be released. But there was another piece of litigation that went on in Boston last night, and they were able to get the ban lifted as it applies to everybody. So this is a great weekend for lawyers. I'm very proud of my brothers and sisters in the legal community. I'm also excited and proud of the people in St. Louis. You know, on Thursday night when word came out that, you know, of the wall, building the wall, and again vilifying Latin American people in the United States and vilifying Muslims with the executive order on Friday, 3 friends of mine, some new, some old, put together a march that took place down in the city of St. Louis yesterday. And I was lucky enough to attend that march, and I thought there was going to be about 40 people there. When I showed up, I think there were about 250 people there. And the energy right next to the Soldiers Memorial was absolutely electric. The people were engaged. The people were inspired. There were people hugging and giving high fives and that are really paying attention to what's going on. So we are really excited to see what's going on. My buddy Faizan and I, Faizan, who's the head of the Council on American Islamic Relations, we're calling for a march for Muslims, and so we are in the planning stages of that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on a march for Muslims, both for the refugees and for the Muslims that are in the United States that are feeling tremendous amount of pressure right now. I can't tell you, my inbox is loaded up. My inbox is full of people who are scared and are worried. And I think the time has come for everyone to show the Muslims some love. And I think that if we plan it for next weekend, that we can really get a lot of coverage for it, and that a lot of people will come out and support. So throughout the country, people of good conscience are standing up for Muslims, and I find it very heartening. So it's certainly disturbing, the people that are running the White House, the fact that President Bush has brought Steve Bannon into the Security Council meetings, and it's absolutely ridiculous that this nut job on the fringes of the fringe is now in the White House planning strategy. Donald Trump is not smart enough to think up this stuff himself, and so we're really glad that people are paying attention. We really hope that you stay vigilant and watch what they're doing. And we're glad that there are people protesting at all the airports. I don't know particularly if it's effective at Lambert, just because no one goes through customs in St. Louis. In order to come to St. Louis, you have to, in almost every situation, have come through customs in some other place. So I doubt, it's very unlikely that anybody's being held up in St. Louis. And in fact, in my experience, the people at customs in St. Louis have been pretty good. But Nihad's given the shout out. There will be a protest today at 1 o'clock at Lambert Airport. I don't know what effect it'll have, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and empty out my inbox. I've created a frequently asked questions flyer that I'm finishing up, and I'm going to spread that out. I'm going to send that out to everybody. If you need any help, if you have any questions, we're looking at all of our options. We're looking at all of we have right now in our office about 20 American citizens or green card holders who have sponsored loved ones from Iraq and Syria, and we're exploring our options. One of the problems is that we're in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is one of the most conservative circuits in the country, so we're just sort of watching and paying attention. We're going to study the lawsuits that have been filed, and we're going to certainly explore what it is that we can do. As you may know, I just got licensed up in Washington, D.C., and I could see a scenario where I, along with some allies, we've gotten so much support from people, offers of financial support, litigation support. Big firms have offered to help us. Small firms have offered to help us. The American Civil Liberties Union has reached out to us. The Post-Dispatch has reached out to us. Everybody's engaged. Everything's electric. I've never seen anything like this. I said to Amani today that this must be what it felt like in the Arab Spring when things started over there. Obviously, they had a lot more to worry about than we do, but this is our country, and we are Americans, and we will stand up for this tyranny and these nut jobs that are running the country right now. I love all of you. I wish you peace. I hope you all are feeling strong and staying safe. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or hit me up on Facebook. Love you all. Peace.